If you want to know where your awakening begins, don't look to the next retreat, don't look to the next book, or even the next teacher. Look to the pause. I know, simple, but that split second between someone triggering you and how you respond is so meaningful. At first glance, it looks empty, but mystics, psychologists, and behavioral scientists all point to the same truth. That space, that's everything. Eckhart Tolle calls it the gap between thoughts. Ram Dass, he described it as being here now. So why does that matter? Because awareness itself, not your thoughts, not your emotions, it's the ground of consciousness. So in neuroscience, this is the difference between the default mode network, which is, it's that narrative that most of us hear, that chatter in your head all day long. And then the prefrontal cortex, which is the seat of awareness and choice making. So when you step into the pause, you shift from stories to actually being present. Nikola Tesla said, the secrets of the universe are energy, frequency, and vibration. And in the pause, your personal sort of frequency shifts. You're no longer pulled by the vibrations and emotions of fear or reactivity. You can rise into a higher sort of coherence, one that literally changes how your brain and your nervous system can fire. Jung taught that archetypes are the universal patterns. So in the pause, the pleaser, the judge, maybe the rebel appear. But the gift is this: you get to practice being the observer of them, the field in which these archetypes sort of arise. This is consciousness at work. You're not just holding back a reaction or trying to bite your tongue. You're practicing identity, moving from I am the people pleaser to I'm the awareness that notices the people pleaser. And that's the shift that mystics call liberation, because it is. So now let's anchor this into some science. Behavior always follows something that's called the ABC model. A stands for antecedent, B is the behavior, C is the consequence. So the antecedent is what happens before. Maybe it's an email, somebody gives you a look, it's their tone of voice. B is your behavior, how you reacted to that. And C is consequence, or what was it that you did that keeps reinforcing that behavior. So that loop can run on autopilot. But when you practice awareness in the pause, you insert a conscious step between the A and the B, and that is how habits are rewired. And neuroscience agrees. Hebb's law tells us that neurons that fire together wire together. So each time that you pause, you're weakening that old loop and the old archetypes, and you're strengthening new ones. So here's how to bring this down to like reality. Here's some things you can try. First, label it, then locate it, and then lift it. Label the archetype. So, hey, the judge just showed up, or I just people pleased again. Then locate that where you feel it in your body. Maybe it's tension in your chest. Then lift it. Lift your awareness above that emotion. Feel your breath, or maybe the room around you. But this moves you from identification into observation. Then you want to reinforce it with a ritual. So behavior tells us that reinforcement builds behavior. So after each pause, reward yourself. Maybe it's a smile, a little thought in your head of gratitude, or maybe even jot a note. Whatever it is, that ritual reinforcement locks this new behavior into a new shift for you. Or maybe you want to try habit stacking from James Clear. You attach your pause to a daily practice to sort of anchor it. So before opening your email, pause, breathe. Before answering that hard phone call, pause, breathe. Before walking into that hard meeting, You got it. Pause. Breathe. Each repetition wires a new neural loop. Or maybe pull from Adam Grant. I love his playful approach to just experimenting, rethinking it. Treat these things like it's an experiment that you can play with. What if I chose differently this time? And then your data is your own life. You can practice presence daily. Mystics meditate, but you can just practice micro presence. One little mindful bite of food or one deep breath at a stoplight. These little mini pauses expand your baseline awareness, and it makes it easier to practice those things when you're under deep pressure or stress. So Tesla pointed to vibration, Buddha to mindfulness, Jesus pointed to compassion, Jung pointed to those archetypes I was talking about, Brene Brown, she points us to vulnerability, and Adam Grant points us to rethinking. They're all pointing to the same thing, the pause as practice. It isn't just the space where you stop yourself, like I said, or try to bite your tongue. It's the space where you're practicing being consciousness itself. When you turn that into a habit with reinforcement, with ritual, with awareness, you create a spiral of real transformation. And not overnight, right? But day by day. Because the true awakening isn't that lightning strike moment. It's more like the steady fire that you build by pausing again and again and again until you're no longer living as reaction, but as creation.